All right, so as you start your painting, I'm going to review a few things. So first thing you want to do is to import your drawing that you've taken a picture of. So we'll go up here to the little square with the mountains in it and the little plus. And I'll find my photos. And I borrowed this one from online, and now you need to make sure it fills up as much as you can in the picture plane there. That looks good. All right, I'm good to go. Now, first thing you need to do is to come up with your own list of tools here, like I've got mine that I went through, and you want to find a bunch of brush tools. Definitely want to use the synthetic oil. I've got another one, a coarse round brush, and I've got some smudging tools. You want to find some smudging tools like this smudge soft round one here. There's a blending tool here that we're going to definitely need. I've got a couple of blending tools because we're going to need to mix our colors. The smudge pen. I've got a couple of other blending tools. I also have a couple of good pen tools. This fine line pen's a good one, as well as this felt pen for our detail work. Okay. And it's really important that you're zooming in and out as you're creating this. So I'm going to start off with my synthetic round brush. Let's start off with that. And again, like I said, you can use the color picker to figure out what kinds of colors you want. I'm going to start with some greens in here, like so. So I'm going to zoom in. Let's see. I'm going to work on these sort of trees in the background. All right, I've got to check my size, keep it sort of down there, and my strength. I kind of sort of play around with that. And then come in and start painting. And again, I'm sort of lifting. If you just kind of go back and forth, it sort of thins it out. But if I tap and sort of lift every single time, then I can get that area in there. And it will pick up the black lines too, so I gotta have to kind of watch that. And sort of start painting my tree area. Now I said my directions that to make sure that you use 3 different values of a color in the area here. So I'm using this green, so I'll zoom back into my green, and that's kind of my base level green. And again, it's really easy with the palette tool over here as I just drag it around until I find kind of a darker. That's a good one there. I come up with my tool. Gonna make some little shadow areas in here, just little bits, like right there maybe. And then I'm gonna bring it a little bit lighter for some highlights. Some little highlighted areas in here. Like so. And let's take a look at what that looks like when I zoom it out. Okay. So it's looking pretty interesting. Got some different steps. Whoops, it looks like I hit my finger over there. Okay, but now I want to blend it. So I'm going to zoom in. Let me make sure that's the smudge pen. I'm going to try this one out and see what this looks like. I'm going to bring the size way down. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of smudge it in there. Blend a little bit more. Because I want to have some nice transitions in here. I'm still sort of keeping these little shadows together. I'm trying to get rid of those, a little bit of those marks. You can see these little marks in here. So I'm sort of, so that smudge pen looks like it's doing a pretty good job of what I want to do here. All right, let's zoom back out and see what we, well, let's see. Let's fix this a little bit more. And just remember, if you go and you smudge into the line, it is going to bring that in there. And we don't want that. But I'll go out and see what that looks like. So that's looking pretty interesting. Okay, and I can definitely use that. Like, for example, if I wanted to make like a sunsetty kind of a sky or thing going on here. So I've got some, like, let's see, maybe got some blues, and then I'll take my oil brush in here. Layer it on there a little bit more, and then I'll go back with my color. Maybe I want to do some of those, and then maybe I want to change the strength back a little bit. Whoops, I don't want that much. All right, let's try that out. Okay, now you can see every time I tap it, I'm going to go back and add a little bit more blue to it. Okay, and so I back out, and you can see it's pretty interesting, but again, it's got those brush marks, so I'm going to try to get rid of those with my blending tool. So I used this one here the last time. That's the smudge pen. I'm going to use the blending versus the smudge pen and see what it looks like. Ah, that's really big. I'm going to back that up a bit. So my size is way big. I got to watch your size. Okay, so that blends it pretty quickly. So you can see that that's blending like quite a lot. So I might not want that much blending, but it's doing some pretty interesting stuff kind of in here. Okay, but the smudge pen definitely, it's a little bit, you got more finesse with it, so you're able to go in and do a little bit. So again, the blending tool is pretty good for big areas, like the sky area in here. I can do some cool blending with that. But again, if I was wanting to come back and do my little tree area in here, my little bush area, I'm definitely going to want to try the blending with smudge pen. So really make sure you're using that smudge pen quite a bit. And the smudge pen is located in the colorless section there. All right, so as you're painting, again, I highly recommend using this synthetic coarse round brush. The synthetic brushes are really good, and again, pay attention to your flow and your strength, because sometimes you want them less and sometimes you want them more. Like if I'm just trying to, paint this area in here, you're lifting up so I get a nice solid sort of basic color, okay? So my thing's doing weird stuff here. There we go. All right, so let's say I've been painting along pretty well, and I made some mistakes over here. So the easy thing just to do, I can kind of say, all right, I don't really like that, or maybe that's a big tree back in there, but I'm going to get rid of that because I like my sky the way it was. So I'm just going to go into the little eyedropper. Whoops. It keeps coming off on me. And I'm going to, that's not what I wanted to do. Just going to try again. There we go. I'm going to select that area, and then I'm just going to go back, paint over that, and I could even go back in with my blending tools. I'm going to make sure my blending tools are sized appropriately, and again, you can change the size here so you can see how big it's going to be, and then I can come back in, and then I can blend it with the color around it. So I can't really see my mistakes anymore.